sitting up there telling us you're not really trying to educate your children. And I'm thinking, wow. So when I was going to send them off to camp, and it was a learning camp, it was going to be education applied to them every single day for 6 weeks. That wasn't going to be good enough for them. It's like, I am so tired of trying to prove to CPS that I can be a parent and take good care of my children, because I think that I do a hell of a job, you know? It's like, I try to give them everything I can, but whatever I'm giving them, it's not good enough. And I just feel that I'm going to have to do something to change my life to make it even better, because I noticed something, that when you can pay for private school, they're not going to pick up the phone and call CPS. You know, because for one, I think that a lot of times CPS will force you to go to a program like Child Haven. For one, Child Haven was so funny because, for one, they sit up there and they said, oh, we don't have any budgeting to help your child get educated. But at the same time, we did the research and found out they got a $1.6 million donation to help for educational programs. And then you find out that they had a never-ending amount of volunteers that wanted to volunteer to the programs to help them educate children. And every time I drive by that building, it's like less than half full. And that's the funny part is that you have a program that's available. You got the money. I think that sometimes the people just want to put the money in their pocket and sit up there and say, okay, we'll just educate about half the amount of children, even though we have enough space for another 100 children to be submitted to this program. So I think that Child Haven is a ripoff, that they are just there to scam as much money as they can. And the funny part was, my daughter was court ordered to go to that program for 18 months. And within 11 months, they were kicking her out of that program. They were like, oh, we're going to just kick your kid out, and I don't care what the judge said. That's what that woman, Hillary Winslow, said to me. She goes, oh, I don't care what the judge says. Your child has to leave the program. And I'm thinking to myself, so you want me to put my kid in Bailey Gasser for part-time when she could be at this full-time program? And they're just like, yeah. But you know, I understand, because a lot of times these CPS workers are just scamming money off the states by making you participate in a bunch of programs while your kids are gone. They're getting a kickback on money. So, you know, again, I don't blame them for wanting to scam. I guess 3 parenting degrees is just not good enough in their book. You know, 2 from 1 to 6, and then the next one is from 6 to 18. I guess that just wasn't good enough for them. To me, it's like, no matter what you do, nothing is ever going to be good enough for CPS. What they do is they take your life, they look at it, they analyze it, and then they trash it. They act like you're nothing, like everything you do is nothing. There's my daughter. You know, she's a handful. She loves to dance every day. She loves her music. But at the same time, she loves to run. It's like, that's her favorite thing to do. You know, there was a place I had found for her just to be able to run and be safe. And that was something we did every single day. I mean, I don't care if it was snowing. I don't care if it was raining. Whatever you want, that's what you got. But I had her for a reason, because I wanted somebody to love, somebody to share my life with, somebody I can watch grow. I mean, I have so many nephews and nieces, and it's like, but they're not my kids. They're my brother's kids. They're my sister's kids. But I got to watch them grow up, and that felt wonderful to watch them grow. But there were times when my brother had to leave town. He had to take his kids, and then I'd see the kids a year later. They were like 3 or 4 inches taller, their feet were bigger, you know. So it's like, I think parent and children are very special in a sense, because when your child is born, of course, it's going to be a little tiny creature, but then you're going to watch it grow in front of you, and you don't know whether or not that child's going to be taller than you, or have bigger hands than you, or bigger feet. So to me, it was just a thrill. But it's like, my brothers and sisters, I love them dearly, but I didn't always see their children. And when I see their children, sometimes they were grown men, grown women. By the time, you know, they grow up, I'd be like, oh, they're so big by now, you know, and I didn't see that. I think the sad part is that I didn't get a chance to watch them grow up. And I thought, well, gosh, you know, somewhere down in my future, I'm going to have children. Yeah, here's my son again. He was just so little. He was only 1 year old at the time. But, oh my God, he's such a big boy. But before he was 2, he was ready to go to school. And that was something that I wanted to do for him. Anyway, my life with CPS has been a total nightmare. And I think that what they put my husband through, which he didn't deserve this to begin with, he is such a good person. He didn't deserve any of this. I mean, he didn't know any of these people. We didn't know any of these people. But they just dropped into our lives, and they think that they're doing good. But I think they do more harm than good, just like one of my best friends quoted. Because I tell you something, sometimes they don't allow children to choose what they really want to do. They are trying to tell a child what they want them to do. And that's why so many kids are running away from foster care. Because let me tell you something, foster care, I'm pretty sure they're getting a large sum of money, the foster parents are. But I think that a lot of times when family members want to take care of the children, they hold a percentage of that money back, like 40%. And they say, oh, because you're related, you're blood, you're not getting any extra money. But they'll give it to somebody who's a complete stranger, but they won't give it to another family member. And at the same time, I think that the whole system is corrupt. I think presidents like Reagan and Bush, you know, and Nixon, you know, to me, those people sabotaged it. They made sure that people are going to be picked on, especially the poor, no matter what. I mean, I wish they had presidents more like Clinton, who I think is totally awesome. And I love my Kennedy, even though he died when I was born. But I still think that he really cared and he had a good heart. And I think that a lot of times it's just scamming people, scamming the poor, scamming the people that are, you know, that can't make ends meet is really horrible. That is like total fraud. You're just ripping off poor taxpayers. You know, it's so unfair to do that to the taxpayer who has a difficult time making ends meet to pay their bills. Because Seattle, I mean, I love Seattle dearly, but the rent here is crazy. I'm talking studios and 1 bedrooms are costing what mortgages used to cost around here for homes. And I just think that it's horrible. It's horrible how things are happening to people around here. And I want to help people with CPS for future references. If they ever bother you, don't ever sign anything. Don't trust any of these lawyers, because let me tell you something, they only want to keep a caseload up, and they're paying so much attention to all these different cases that they have in front of them, they can't really focus on what's in front of them. So I think that whenever anybody gets confronted with CPS and they call you a liar, don't sign it away. Just go to court and tell your friends that, hey, you know what? Because I had the enemy, Kelly Taylor, calling each and every one of my friends, asking them questions about me. And when she realized I was telling the truth and that the case was going to be closed, then she wanted to drop it. But anyway, take care of yourself.